storms, particularly strong. We looked at our Vinton City Cam earlier. Yeah, shows some reduced visibility, some heavy rain, probably some 40 to 50 mile an hour winds as reported by the EMA. Iowa County right now also under that warning for some up to 70 mile an hour winds. So we're not seeing, other than the one report that we had of the 94 mile an hour gust in Albion, haven't seen anything near that as these storms have moved through. Certainly watch for a bit of hail. Interstate 80 right now, if you have friends that are on the road, Interstate 80 just off to the west of Williamsburg, just to the south of Victor, south of Brooklyn, near Montezuma and Deep River. That's an area right now that we're receiving some high winds. Williamsburg, certainly you will as well. Heading toward Millersburg, Parkersburg, right? North and South English. I think there's some of the areas that we'll watch. I would expect an additional severe thunderstorm warning eventually to be issued just to the south of this line as that movement continues off toward the south and southeast. Right around 40 to 50 miles
from that fucking rain than the fucking my fucking go.
Miles an hour, depending on where along that line it's going. But the best news as far as anything right now in eastern Iowa, our TV9 viewing area, we haven't heard many damage reports. We have heard a bit of power outage with the winds off toward the west, and that could again occur even across areas of Benton and Lynn County, just with the lightning that's out with the storms. But that's some better news. The storm that did move through Washington County earlier kind of has fallen apart as it's moved across the Mississippi, which I know you were following as well, farther down to the south.
Let's talk winds. Mesonet reports wind gusts 63 mile an hour around the Costa area in Iowa County. A 74 mile an hour gust around Van Horn in Benton County. And let's see, some wind report of 65 mile an hour in Blairstown in Benton County. So certainly still a windy condition. Luckily, Joe, not those 94 mile an hour winds we saw in Marshalltown this morning, but still, winds of 50 to 60 to 70 mile an hour, still strong enough on an early morning frame like this.
Absolutely. I want to look west on Vinton as the storms are moving through. So let me move the city cam back to the west because that's where you really see the storm itself moving in. And you do see the heavy rains on the roof of the building. You see the reduced visibilities where now earlier you could see the flag from the school. You can't see the flag. Hard to see the roadway out there. So that's the conditions that you're seeing right now as those storms continue to push through. That again live from our Vinton City Cam, and we'll kind of move that just a little bit off toward the north as well because that's where that line is, and you see that equally reduced visibility as you get around and head a little more toward the north. So just look at the roof and you see once again, if we can go full to that Vinton City Cam, you see the area of rain just pooling on the roof right now. So heavy rains also a threat as these storms continue to push through.
Looking at some power outages, a couple of different sources. Right now around eastern Iowa, not a terrible amount. Certainly more of that in western Iowa, around that Marshalltown area. But here in eastern Iowa, luckily we've kind of avoided some of that power outage. But with winds, that we've seen, certainly hearing reports of trees down west of us. And more so, we're just hearing those reports of those winds. Haven't heard a lot of damage that has come along with it, which is good news in a morning like this.
That's what we want to hear as storms move through. And now as we can dual box it again, there you go. There's radar. Severe thunderstorm warning extends, and the storm's just about through Vinton right now. So that means they'll be moving through the eastern half of Benton County and then moving farther off toward the east and south. That'll push them through areas of Lynn as well as Johnson County. And as expected, and the Weather Service, I think, doing a pretty good job. They just issued a large severe thunderstorm warning. So let's just kind of show that to you. First of all, take the radar off. There's one area that includes all of Lynn, all of Johnson, most of Washington, and the majority of Keokuk County. That's because that's where that line is going to move off to the east and southeast, looking at 1-inch hail possible, although at this point, and correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't heard one hail report.
No.
Okay, so 1-inch hail
Doppler
possible.
Indicated.
Yep, 70 mile an hour wind, so we're again not at that 90 to 90 mile an hour wind. We're looking at 70 mile an hour winds. Now certainly that can cause some damage, but it's not as destructive, as we saw with that storm with the one report we had earlier. So again, right now, those of you in Johnson, Keokuk, Lynn, Washington counties until 7:45. So that's an hour. They projected for an hour because the storms haven't reached those areas yet. Let's go ahead and put radar back on, take the warning off and project it. And you notice it's just beginning to move into those areas. So they're warning ahead, literally giving you the first alert as well to the storms that are moving in, saying, hey,
I know
if
it's
you
an
have
hour
plans
ahead,
to be
but,
out within the next hour in those
maintenance.
areas, and it's going to move through Cedar Rapids sooner than it's going to move through Mount Vernon, for example. It will pass through. Once it's passed through, then you do have some areas of rain, possibly a thunderstorm in the area, and there's some more lightning you've been following nicely on our North Liberty City Cam. You could see that. As they move through, give yourself just a little bit of time. Right now, traffic on Interstate 380, not looking too bad.
But did get a report from the newsroom while you're seeing the delay there, a crash on around that North Liberty area.
The truck's slowing down.
There you go. And you can see the flashing lights there as well. But no, so the flag too kind of waving with that frequent lightning. But it has just been...
Don't ask what happened to the wall.
Certainly a morning of heavy rain, of
The video is gonna fucking cut off here in like